If your child depends on school meals, you're in for a shock. The recent budget cuts by the USDA are set to have a profound impact on the daily lives of millions of children across the country. These cuts are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They translate to real, tangible changes in the quality and quantity of food that children receive at school. The USDA just slashed $1 billion from school lunch funds. This decision has sent shockwaves through communities, leaving parents, educators, and policymakers scrambling to understand the full implications. The funds that have been cut were crucial for maintaining the standards and availability of school meals. The USDA has cancelled $1 billion in funding meant for school lunches and food banks. This move is expected to create a ripple effect, impacting not just the schools but also the broader community support systems that many families rely on. The cancellation of these funds means that schools will have to make tough choices about what they can afford to serve. This affects programs like the Local Food for Schools Cooperative Agreement, cutting $660 million, which means fewer healthy, locally sourced meals for kids in 40 states. These programs were designed to provide nutritious options and support local farmers, creating a win-win situation for both children and the agricultural community. With these cuts, the availability of fresh fruits and vegetables will diminish, and schools may have to revert to cheaper, less nutritious options. Another $420 million cut impacts food banks, reducing their ability to support families in need. Now let's talk numbers. Food banks are often the last line of defense for families struggling to put food on the table. With these cuts, the shelves of food banks will become emptier, and the lines of people seeking help will grow longer. This reduction in support will hit the most vulnerable members of our society the hardest. 12 million students in 24,000 high-poverty schools could lose free meals provided by the community eligibility provision. This provision has been a lifeline for many families, ensuring that children receive at least one nutritious meal a day without the stigma of free lunch programs. The loss of this provision means that many children will go hungry, affecting their ability to learn and thrive in school. That's millions of children potentially going without their only reliable source of nutrition. The impact of hunger on a child's development is profound, affecting not just their physical health but also their cognitive and emotional well-being. Hungry children are more likely to struggle academically, have behavioral issues, and face long-term health problems. Food banks, already stretched thin, will struggle even more. The demand for food assistance has been rising, and these cuts will exacerbate the situation. Volunteers and staff at food banks will face increased pressure to do more with less, and many families may find themselves without the support they desperately need. Local farmers and ranchers who supplied fresh food will face economic hits too. These cuts will disrupt the supply chain, affecting the livelihoods of those who grow and produce our food. Farmers who have built relationships with schools and food banks will lose a significant portion of their income, which could lead to further economic instability in rural communities. Rising food costs mean families are already feeling the pinch, and these cuts only make it worse. The cost of groceries has been steadily increasing, and many families are already struggling to afford basic necessities. The reduction in support from school meal programs and food banks will force families to make difficult choices between food and other essential expenses. The USDA says these cuts aim to promote long-term fiscal responsibility. While fiscal responsibility is important, it should not come at the expense of children's health and well-being. The long-term costs of malnutrition and poor academic performance far outweigh the short-term savings from these budget cuts. But what about the immediate impact on our children's health and education? Hungry children cannot focus, learn, or grow properly. The immediate consequences of these cuts will be felt in classrooms across the country, as teachers struggle to teach students who are too hungry to concentrate. Is this the best way to save money? There must be other areas where cuts can be made without jeopardizing the health and future of our children. Communities need to come together to find alternative solutions and advocate for the protection of these essential programs. Parents, teachers, and communities need to speak up. It is crucial for everyone to raise their voices and let policymakers know that these cuts are unacceptable. By coming together, we can push for changes that prioritize the well-being of our children. Our kids deserve better. Every child has the right to a healthy meal and a chance to succeed in school. We must ensure that they have the resources they need to thrive. Don't let them go hungry. The future of our children and our nation depends on the actions we take today. We must act now to protect and support our most vulnerable. Spread the word, contact your representatives and push for change. Together we can make a difference and ensure that no child goes hungry. Let's stand up for our children and demand the support they need to grow, learn and succeed.